Curtis DIYer.
DIYers, I saw a tweet the other day by Russ that I wanted to highlight here in this video, and it questions this idea that a lot of us have agreed upon, especially as independent artists, that content is king. We're in the era of content, specifically video content. If you don't have some kind of visual experience to go along with your music, it's almost like it doesn't exist to a large segment of people. But Russ, especially being the content machine that he is, he gave another perspective that I think is just as important and worthy of being highlighted. Russ, obviously, if not the most, one of the most popular and successful independent artists out here in the game, says this: marketing cannot manufacture resonance. It only amplifies what's already there. If the foundation, aka the music, is not undeniably great, you cannot ad spend or TikTok hack your way into forcing people to care for the long term. At best, you'll see a spike that collapses. I've put out 500 plus songs. Oftentimes they get the same push, rollout, etc. Some perform better than others. The song is the variable. Blaming external factors is a trap that keeps you from refining your craft. Make better music. Man, shout out to Russ. Shout out to Russ for putting that kind of a statement out there, because I think it puts this is refocusing the main thing to become the main thing again. In this era where I feel like voices like Gary Vee, who presented so much value, I mean, I can't even tell you the amount of value that I have received as a business owner and as a independent artist from the way that Gary Vee has presented the importance of content in this era, right? But I do feel like some other folks who have positioned themselves as gurus have kind of abused this idea. So when you hear marketing cannot manufacture resonance, I think that's a powerful statement, because what it says is it don't matter how great you think your rollout plan is. If that music is a handful of dog poop, you can't put no bow on it. You can't spray it with Febreze. That shit ain't resonating. It's not connecting with the people. Stop blaming you know what, I should have had a better, if I had more ad spend. No, dummy. You're holding a handful of dog poop. Knock it off. Go wash your hands. Sanitize them. It only amplifies what's already there. That reminds me of a quote that my marketing teacher once told me. He said that he believes that money is not just the root of all evil. It is the magnifying glass to who we are. I think it's the same thing here, is that marketing is only the voice that is amplifying what you already have. If the foundation, the music, is not undeniably great, you cannot ad spend or TikTok hack your way into forcing people to care for the long term. We are in a hacking era where I feel like all the advice that I see on Reels, all the advice that I see in some of these YouTube videos from people who've never achieved it themselves is nothing but lazy approaches to trying to go after things that people who have put the hard work in have achieved. Hey, here's how to hack your way into, man, here's the 5-method plan. They always put their fingers out. 5-method plan for a lazy artist. A lazy artist? What is that? What is that? A 5 marketing plan for a lazy artist so you can get your music on the very large charts. You better stop listening to them, because they do not have the art as a top priority. You cannot TikTok hack your way. I don't care how many times you jump in front of your music or these videos and say, "Did I just make the song of the summer?" It ain't gonna work if you ain't even made the song of the day. At best, you'll see a spike that collapses. So he acknowledges that putting that money behind your music is going to bring new eyes to it and will apply a spike. You'll see in your graph, oh man, all these people are now going to check out my website or check out this song that's on streaming. But it collapses because there was never a real connection established. I've put out 500 plus songs, is what Russ is saying. Other times they get the same push, rollout. Some perform better than others. You know why? Because the song is the variable. At the end of the day, you should not be trying to manipulate an audience to become a fan of you. And I mean, manipulation could have a few different definitions, and that, you know, when as a parent, if I want my son to take some nasty grape Tylenol, I might have to give him a little bit of, you know, a little juice along with it. That's a form of manipulation. But I think so many people have made that their front-facing character and personality to the point where they want to manipulate people into first listening to their music by finding all these hacky ways to do it. Then they want them to manipulate them into buying things from them. Then somehow manipulate them into becoming a fan. And then they're surprised when somebody who has a better manipulation tactic takes them people from right under them. Well, that's because you never established a real connection with them. Then the last part here says blaming external factors is a trap that keeps you from refining your craft. Make better music. For those of you that are getting ready to comment under this video and say, well, that's easy for him, it's easy for us. Shut up. You're not invited to this conversation. You gave up long time ago. Let's come to this video right here by Jane Lee, the indie mama. The indie mama. She's out here always looking out for the independent artists. She gives another perspective in terms of, you know, don't get it twisted. As much as the music is the foundation, content still, to a certain degree, is king, right? It still is. I just think that it is changing the type of king that it is in this era, right? Especially as things are shifting and people are looking for music that sticks to their bones. Here's what she had to say. I thought it was a lot of great points.
Social media sucks, I get it. You didn't sign up to be a content creator, you signed up to be an artist. You want to make music, not skits, not captions, not copies, not dances. I get it, but here's the reality. You can either sit on the sidelines, make a bunch of music, nobody hears it, nobody sees it, or you can decide how you're going to use social media on your own terms. Nobody's saying that you have to become some type of influencer posting 10 times a day. But what I am saying is this. If you believe in your music, if you believe that it is good, if you believe that it deserves some ears and hearts, then you have to fight through the part that sucks.
Hello.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
It's a lot of work if you choose this as a profession, especially when you choose to go independently, which is why I understand why some people give up and say, give me whatever deal you can, as long as I don't have to do nearly the amount of work that I would have to do. I understand it. I could never do it, but I understand it. With that said, also never forget the benefit that we get of being in 2025 and being able to be in control of our own media voices. There was a point in time where if you wanted your music to get heard, you could not just solely rely upon, rely upon YouTube, because YouTube's a long-term game, right? It took time. The algorithm was different. You couldn't just rely upon social media. You needed to stretch out where the music fans were at. And at one point in time, they were on blogs. So you had to figure out how to establish a relationship with these blogs, and you had to hope that they received your email. Amongst all the emails that came through, you had to hope that they cared enough to include the details of how to reach your store, how to reach your website. There was a lot of steps to go through, and you were still hoping that they would post you more than once so that you could stay in front of this audience and build them into eventually, casual fans into more dedicated fans. You ain't got to do that no more. Now you have the ability to create content that puts you at the front, that allows people to get to know you on some kind of level, whether it's through your other interests outside of music or whether it's your process of creating music. Whatever it is that you do, you have the power that a lot of artists did not have 15 years ago, especially if they weren't signed to some kind of label or had an investor behind them. So never forget the benefit of where we're living in right now. And if you plan on going direct to consumer and doing no content, boy, good luck.
What did you think? That this was going to be easy? Or did you think this was going to be all fun? Everything is going to, you just whatever you want to do is what you're going to do. No! There's a greater purpose or a greater mission. There are things that you have to do along the way. Think about it like this. You don't want to do social media? You're going to make some amazing music. No one's going to hear it. How does that feel? Think about what it's like to rehearse. Do you enjoy every second of that? Do you enjoy, sacrificing your time with your friends, your family to go practice in the shed? No, not all the time. But here's the thing. It's preparing you for the stage. It's making making way for that moment. And here's the thing, social media, if you look at it, it's kind of the same thing. It can actually prepare the way for you to get on the stage, because the more you do it, the more efficient you get at it, the more you're consistent with it, you have a better opportunity to share your music with the people out there that may become your fan.
There it is. And I think some people, when they're talking about building a fan base, especially living in the hacker season, right? The TikTok hacker season. How do I hack my way to a fan base? I don't think people realize how many steps it really requires. And I mean, this applies not just to music. This applies to whatever you're doing. It applies to this YouTube channel. You know, the reason that you do content is because it's another tool that you can use to help you build a fan base that is outside of just the music. For you, your music may be for a very niche audience, a very specific audience, and you may only reach them when you actually drop music if your algorithm plays fair with you. But these are the steps, according to Pat Flynn in one of my favorite books, The Superfan Journey, of how you take people and the journey they go through from being casual fans that are on the timeline and they come across you to becoming a super fan. Here's the steps. Casual audience is where most people start with. They find you online or by recommendation, early stages in the journey. So maybe they see you on their timeline. Maybe you had a post that went kind of viral for whatever you consider viral for your audience size. Well, there's a casual audience. They still have made no decisions. Maybe just liked the post and kept it moving. The next step in this process is the active audience. This is where you know who you are, what you have to offer, and people want more, right? They know who you are, what you have to offer, and they want more. They take action but need convincing. You see all these steps? Like, we haven't even these are the steps that people have to go through, and this is why you keep consistently putting content in front of them, content including music to a certain degree. You have to put these things in front of them to move them up this pyramid from casual audience to active audience. And it may take 14 posts, 24 posts before they've made the decision to do that, right? This may be somebody saying, okay, active audience, I'm going to just follow you on social media. Connected community is where you got another level up. Having conversations with you. These people are now moving from active to connected, where they're having conversations with you and your tribe. Maybe your tribe of DIYers. That's where you start to really establish a fan base. And then super fans, oh yeah, they're with you. They defend you. They are there to support your brand. But these steps take time. And if you're not in the position to create content outside the music, to help that, to do interviews, to do podcasts, you're setting yourself up for failure, especially in this era. But I really want to dive into this idea of content and how it changes, because I know with every age group, the habits change. I saw this post here, boy, oh boy, from, I guess, a research done by a company called Midia. Right? I think it's Media, or it's called Midia, but it's MIDIA. And this is on an Instagram post called She Said So. This was interesting because I think it gives even another way to look at the importance of content and maybe sometimes the way that we over prioritize it. The headline here says how social platforms turn music discovery into platform value, not artist fandom. Media's research, global study of 10,000 consumers, finds that while TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram drive discovery, most listeners stop at the snippet. You trying to tell me they stop at the casual audience? Oh, continue. No single music platform dominates music discovery. YouTube reaches the most people at 52%, followed by streaming at 40% and TikTok at 37%. In total, 7 different sources each account for more than 10% of audiences, showing how scattered the landscape really is. Almost half of consumers did not stream music they heard on social media in the past month. It's almost like they stayed casual. Okay. Discovery happens, but it often stalls before listeners take the next step towards streaming or fandom. 16 to 24-year-olds are likely are less likely than 25 to 34-year-olds to take almost every step after discovery. From saving a track to exploring more music from the artist, only 19% of younger listeners who discovered a new artist went on to hear more of their catalog. Yikes. On TikTok, users are more likely to follow an artist than to listen further. Of the 20% of consumers who followed an artist after discovery, just 26% of them explored more of their music compared to 45% on other platforms. That feels like that's in the active audience list, and this is where a lot of people can sometimes stall. I'm active, I'm there, I followed you. I just haven't followed you to your website quite yet. Social media feeds are full of snippets. 1-minute videos, a minute and a half, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, but very few people leave the platform. 18% of those 10,000 listeners say they don't want to leave social media apps when they hear music. And a third forget the track altogether by the time they do. It's almost like you got to show up in front of them with more than just music. Oh, damn. 28% of 16 to 24-year-olds say hearing music on TikTok or Instagram is already enough for them. For these listeners, the platform experience replaces the need to stream or follow artists somewhere or elsewhere. Wow. The funnel isn't linear, it's a cycle. When discovery starts with full songs and artists on streaming platforms, social content can deepen fandom. But when it starts with a snippet, the loop stays inside the feed, benefiting platforms more than the artists. It's another way to look at it in that, yes, content is king, especially in terms of putting your music in front of the right people. But you got to have multiple experiences in order for this cycle to be beneficial to you and not just the social media platform you're on. Hey, you know what helps that? Making great music that sticks with people. Hello.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Back to our initial point. You got to resonate with people. What are you doing to resonate with people? Catchy hooks are made every single day. How are you resonating with people? This is such a great feed. A great slideshow. All right, let's go to one more video here. And this one is a little bit outside of the norm, but it's not even about an artist. Well, I guess not specifically a musician or independent artist, but the account here called is OMG Adrian. You might have seen him. He makes a lot of great content about making content. And I think this applies to us as DIYers. And I wanted to share what he said because a lot of artists are like, okay, Curtis, I'm ready to make some content. I'm ready to show my face, but damn it, I'm tired. I'm dog tired. He has an explanation for why that eventual burnout may happen. Peep this out.
Burnout is the #1 reason why creators stop posting. But here's the truth. It's not burnout, it's bad planning.
A couple years ago, I posted every single day for a year. And last year, I posted a short film every single week.
When you don't have a system, every video feels like starting from scratch. And that's not sustainable. I'm gonna show you how I plan, keep balanced, and stay consistent without running yourself into the ground.
Step 1, color coding. For me, I need to color code everything. One color for writing, one for filming days, one for editing, one for posting. Also, now that I've color coded my calendar, whether it's physical or digital, I know exactly what I'm doing on any given day. Step 2, the process. So now we're going to get into the flow of things. If my goal is to upload one video a week while staying ahead, this is how I do it. Let's say I have this video idea of my favorite lenses. I'm going to start with when I want that video to go up, another idea about do pineapples belong on pizza, and then another idea and another idea. Then immediately after, I will schedule my writing day, which I'll say is usually about a week ahead of time. Then I schedule my filming day, and I plan these on average at least 5 days ahead of time. Then next is my edit. I always want to keep what I film as fresh as I possibly could in my memory. So that's what planning content within 1 week of time looks like for me. So next, how do we get ahead? Step 3, stacking. So within this in-between time, I'm going to be writing, filming, and editing other full videos. What I don't do is do 2 edits within a day or 2 shoots within a day. But if I'm doing 2 things in a day, I'll either write and film or edit and write. You know, we need to stack these if we want to get ahead of time. So this is my method to stay ahead while avoiding burnout. Monday, we have nothing planned, so let's write this. Thursday, we have nothing going on. We can edit that. The next day, we have our weekends free and it'll go up right here. So now before this first video goes up, we have 2 weeks of content ready to go and in the tank. And how do we get 3 and 4 weeks ahead? So we are just editing this day. Let's write idea 1 here. And then on this day, let's do idea 2. Let's pick out a shoot day. On a Monday, let's do idea 1. We'll edit the next days. And there we go. This is 4 weeks of content scheduled in 2 weeks of time. And it's honestly a pretty chill schedule. This is 10 days of work getting you by an entire month. Seems like a pretty fair trade-off.
If you do not, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, is a quote that I've been hearing since I was a kid. And this could not be more accurate in this time where we are being asked to do more in order to get to the goals that we want to get to, right? These are just to run a successful business as an independent artist, which in itself, you know, with even a small team, is a lot of work to do, especially as a DIY, there's a lot of work to do. Well, if you want to be able to achieve all these things, you got to figure out a plan that allows you to batch, right? It may be a dedication to one day or 2 or 3 days out the week where it's just content and nothing else. That is going to be one of the biggest amplifiers and voices for everything that you plan on promoting or releasing to your audience in terms of music. But you gotta plan wisely so that burnout does not happen nearly as frequently as it does when on this grind. I want to make sure that I plug this really quick. For those of you that do struggle with content ideas, independent artists that struggle with content ideas, come here to CurtisKing.com. I have a PDF that is 100 viral video ideas. This is not ideas that are just pulled out of nowhere. These are ideas that have worked for me. It is a multi-page PDF that shows you all of the videos and gives you a description of how you do them, why you do them, and how to amplify and get the most out of them. Plus, when you click on the videos, it sends you directly to that post. It's one of my favorite pieces of content that I put out there. But final words, DIYers, you know, look, content is still king, but I think that under this new switch, this new regime, that king must readjust, right? Its rule has to be readjusted, because in a place where it is so common to see content, it's not uncommon to see content, to the point where you may see content from somebody like myself and never have even heard my music. It is, to me, the most important thing to make sure that if and when somebody finally does get to the music, it is undeniable that they should tap into more. Especially seeing how finicky people can be and how long it takes them to move from being, you know, a casual listener to an active listener, and how some people that just stay right there in that place, they'll stay as an active fan and never really move to the community slot. It shows you how much work is ahead of you, but it is all possible. You just got to be patient with the process, and you must plan ahead so it is not so much to bite off of and chew. With that said, DIYers, those are my thoughts on this. You let me know what you think. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.